Oliver had been expecting pizza. What arrived instead was considerably more complicated. The knock on his apartment door came at exactly 7:47 p.m., 17 minutes later than Domino's promised delivery time. He opened it with a complaint already forming on his lips, then forgot how to speak entirely. Standing in the hallway was the most striking woman he had ever seen. She stood nearly 7 feet tall, with skin that shimmered like polished bronze under the flickering hallway light. Her eyes were an impossible shade of violet, with vertical pupils that contracted as they focused on him. She wore armor that looked grown rather than forged, organic plates that curved along her athletic frame in patterns that suggested both lethal efficiency and alien aesthetics. Oliver Chen? Her voice carried harmonics no human throat could produce. Oliver replied eloquently. I am Commander Lena of the Astral Vanguard, 3rd Fleet of the Galactic Coalition. She glanced down the hallway nervously, an oddly human gesture from such an otherworldly being. May I enter? I require your assistance with an urgent matter. Oliver's brain finally caught up with events. Is Earth in danger? Are you here to recruit me for some kind of interstellar war? Lena's expression shifted into what might have been embarrassment. No, nothing like that. This is personal. Against every instinct of self-preservation, Oliver stepped aside. Lena ducked through the doorway, her armored shoulders barely clearing the frame. She moved with the fluid grace of a predator, scanning his modest apartment with those unsettling violet eyes. Nice place, she said, though her tone suggested she was merely being polite. Thanks, so why is a galactic warrior commander standing in my living room? Lena reached into a compartment in her armor and withdrew a device that looked like a crystalline tablet. She tapped it once and a holographic image materialized in the air between them. It showed a crude but recognizable drawing of a stick figure next to what appeared to be a spacecraft. Do you recognize this? Lena asked. Oliver squinted at the image. Is that the drawing I made when I was 8? For that time capsule project at school? Yes. Lena's posture straightened with what looked like pride. It was launched aboard the Pioneer 13 probe in 2008. It traveled for 17 years before being intercepted by a Coalition scout ship near the Kepler 442 system. Okay, that's actually pretty cool, but your drawing changed my life. Oliver Chen. Oliver blinked. I'm sorry, what? Lena began pacing, her movements agitated. I was a cadet then, barely past my maturation cycle. I had joined the Coalition military because it was expected of my bloodline. 7 generations of warriors. I excelled in combat, in strategy, and all the things a soldier should excel at. But I hated it, Oliver. Every day felt like suffocation. She stopped, turning to face him with an intensity that made him take a step back. Then they brought your probe to the Academy as a curiosity, an artifact from a pre-contact civilization. Most of my unit dismissed it as primitive, but I studied every item, every image, every sound recording. And I found your drawing. Oliver looked at the hologram again. It was terrible art, even by 8-year-old standards. The stick figure was smiling, standing next to a rocket ship. Above it, in his childish handwriting, were the words, "My name is Oliver. When I grow up, I want to make games that make people happy." That's when I understood, Lena continued, her voice softening. Happiness. Purpose beyond duty. Your people, still bound to a single world, already knew what it took me 17 cycles of misery to learn. That life is not just about serving a function. It's about finding joy. So you, became a game developer? Not immediately. I completed my service obligation, rose to commander, led campaigns across 3 sectors. But in my spare time, I studied everything I could about your world's entertainment, your art, your games. I learned your languages, your coding systems, your storytelling traditions. Lena tapped her device again. The hologram shifted to show what was clearly a video game interface. Vibrant and beautifully rendered. I created this, she said quietly. It's called Nebula's Children. It's been played by over 3 billion beings across 47 worlds. It teaches cooperation, empathy, creative problem-solving, not through violence, but through exploration and connection. Oliver stared at the footage. The game looked incredible, with mechanics he'd never seen before integrated in ways that seemed almost magical. That's amazing, Lena, really, but why come to Earth? Why find me? Because you deserve to know, she said simply. One small act of creativity from a child reached across the stars and changed someone's life. You made me happy, Oliver Chen, even though we'd never met. Even though you were 8 years old and drawing stick figures. The coalition would tell you first contact must be carefully managed, that individuals cannot meet until formal protocols are established. But they don't understand what I learned from humans. She knelt down, bringing her towering frame closer to his eye level. Sometimes the most important thing you can do is tell someone they mattered, that they made a difference. So I took my ship, filed the worst flight plan in coalition history, and came here to say thank you. Oliver felt something tighten in his chest. He thought about 8-year-old him carefully drawing that stick figure, hoping someone somewhere might see it. He thought about his current job, designing mobile games for a company that only cared about monetization. He'd almost forgotten why he wanted to make games in the first place. I've been stuck lately, Oliver admitted. Lost sight of the whole making people happy thing. Got caught up in metrics and quarterly returns. Lena stood, offering her hand. It was large, powerful, and when Oliver took it, surprisingly warm. Then perhaps we can help each other, she said, a smile crossing her alien features. I came to thank the human who saved me. Perhaps you can remind that human why he started this journey. You know you're probably going to cause a massive interstellar incident, right? Government agencies are probably tracking you right now. Oh, definitely. I'm supposed to be patrolling the Andromeda relay. My commanding officer is going to be furious. Lena's smile widened, showing teeth that were slightly too sharp. Totally worth it. Oliver laughed, a genuine sound he hadn't made in months. Want to help me order that pizza? We can talk about game design. I want to hear everything about Nebula's children. I would like that very much, Lena said. As Oliver pulled out his phone, he glanced at the hologram still floating in his living room. That crude stick figure drawing staring back at him across 17 years and countless light years. Sometimes he thought the smallest acts of hope could echo across the universe, and sometimes, just sometimes, they echoed back. Outside, 3 black SUVs were already pulling up to his apartment building, but that was a problem for future Oliver. Present Oliver had pizza to order and a new friend from the stars who understood what he'd almost forgotten, that making people happy was the whole point. The universe, it turned out, was listening after all.